One of the best things that I've ever done for myself that I've been really working on like the past week or two is to remove any agenda, any expectations that I've set for myself that I've like put into my mind, and just completely removing any specific agenda. That way I can be a lot more present and focused in the present moment. And also it just allows me to flow a lot better rather than always thinking about like specific outcomes or scenarios that I've imagined in my head. And I'm so attached to these like expectations, like this specific agenda, then you become just restricted. You become restricted, and then when you're attached to an outcome in the future, you take yourself out of the present moment. So if you want to be more present with your life in general and live a more enjoyable life, remove any agenda, any expectations that you have. I'll give you guys an example, two examples that I can think of. So what I do is, and I'm in sales, and the old me, I remember I would jump on calls and have like expectations, like a specific agenda of how this call would go. You know, for example, I'm going to jump on a call, I'm going to ask this question, prospect is going to say this, I'm going to ask them this, and then they're going to say that, and then this happens, and then the sale is going to be made. I put so much like attachment and pressure to follow this specific structure and agenda that I've laid out in my head. And then when that happens, like let's just say someone goes off script or goes away from the agenda that I've had, now I have no flexibility because I'm so attached to this agenda that I've had, that I've installed in my head. So that's an example professionally, but also an example like personally as well. Like, have you ever gone out and like with friends, I don't know, that you haven't seen in a long time, or just like before you have interaction with someone, you're just thinking about like, oh, this is gonna happen, like we're gonna talk about this, and then like this is gonna happen, and like it's gonna go this way, like just setting like this expectation as far as what's gonna happen. And then when reality doesn't fall in line with your expectations, that is a recipe for disappointment. I can't imagine, like I've done that so many times. And like since I started practicing removing any agenda or expectation, really just vibing and flowing, going with the flow in the present moment, like man, it's been so much more helpful, so much more freeing than like having to focus on a specific agenda. I can just, you know, if I wanted to talk about this in this specific moment and it makes sense, then I can. If we wanted to talk about this, like then we can dive, like there's more flexibility. And there's no like, it doesn't feel like you're limited. So if you really want to be more present, remove any agenda that you have with anything that you do. You know, whether if that's going to be for work, whether if that's, you know, you're going to go on a date, or you have a conversation with friends, or you got plans coming up, you have a vacation coming up. Sometimes it's so easy for us to have these expectations and set out like a specific agenda of what we want to happen. And the danger of that is when it doesn't happen, you become very disappointed, and you also become very attached and needy. So if you want to be more secure and free, detach yourself from any agenda, any expectations that you have. Now, the big question is, okay, so you know what to do to detach yourself. How do you actually do that? How do you detach yourself from any agenda and expectations? What I do to detach myself from any agenda and expectations is I practice meditation. So one of my favorite things to do now is literally lie down or sit in a quiet room, take a couple of deep breaths, and just relax and let my subconscious mind take over. And you know, wherever it goes, it goes. Wherever my brain goes, I'm just gonna let it wander to wherever. There is no agenda of what I want to do. There is no specific outcome that I want to get out of the meditation. Just close my eyes and just let it flow. Now, you're going to notice when you do that, practice that, give that a try. And when you do, you're going to notice that you might feel like internal tension in your body. For me, usually it's like in my chest or like in my stomach, and I can feel like this internal tension because it's like the ego reacting. Like my ego can be like, oh shit, there's no agenda. You know, this is unknown territory, uncharted territory. So it can be a little bit scary. And the body there's almost like resistance inside, but just observe that, just sit with it, and no pain, no gain. So this is literally like the progress. Pain is progress. Anytime like you're sitting, you're practicing removing yourself from any agenda, just practicing embracing boredom, and then you feel that resistance, just sit with that resistance, sit with that uncertainty. And throughout time, you're practicing to remove any agenda, detach yourself from specific outcomes. Like this is the work that I've been doing every single day and improving. It's like when you go to the gym, you know, you lift some weights, you hit them curls, the next day, like you're gonna be sore. There's going to be pain in your arms and your muscles. And that's like the same thing too when you're trying to practice detachment and embracing boredom, removing any agenda. There's going to be that internal resistance. And so just sit with that internal resistance. And the more you can do that, the stronger that you're going to become, the more okay that you're going to become with not having any specific like agendas or expectations, and the more free you're going to be. So if you guys find value in watching these videos, I want to keep posting more videos to inspire and impact more people. So like, share, comment, subscribe. And also, if there is a topic that you want me to talk about, I'd be more than happy to do that. Let me know in the comments below. And check out this video, which is my latest video that I've just posted, where I talk about how 3 things that you already have in you in order for you to be successful. And then here's a video that YouTube recommends.